Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are so pleased to have one of our favorite groups on our podcast, Homestart. We've been interviewing them for, almost as long as we've had the radio station with the Spotlight on the Community since 2007. Joining us is Joe Buehrle. He is the CEO of Homestart. How you doing, Joe? Welcome aboard.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Drew, and excited to carry the Homestart legacy forward into the next season.
Okay, the content you guys share is great, but you've got a legacy in working in nonprofits. Talk about your background.
Yeah, I'm originally from Michigan, but I've been in the nonprofit sector for over 20 years. Started with foster home licensing and working with foster families and parents. That evolved into doing kind of going out into a rural community, meeting with folks and families who had mental health or developmental disabilities or other abilities in Michigan, and then was really got a sense of kind of seeing the kind of day-to-day challenges that vulnerable families were facing. And so I knew that I wanted to kind of go back to school and really focus more on community organizing, community development as it relates to social work. And so had a very powerful experiences doing community organizing in urban Detroit.
Nice.
And then...
where'd you go to college?
Graduate school, I went to University of Michigan. So,
the big house.
Yeah, the big house, big Wolverine fan. So
Sure. It's a great university.
Yes. Yeah. No, it was a life-changing season in my life, and so many powerful people that I met, and it's a wonderful school. And
well, it got you here, so we're very, very pleased with that. Talk about the mission of Homestart.
Yeah, Homestart has been around since 1972, so we're over 50 years old. And it's really about assuring the safety, resilience of children by strengthening families and their communities. And we really do that by thinking about safe, nurturing home environments, and really thinking holistically about resiliency. So that could be doing kind of parenting support or kind of child development, going into someone's home and meeting and connecting with a family. Or it could even be helping folks who are unhoused find housing, stabilize, and kind of get their life back on track.
Now, do some of the clients actually stay in the Homestart housing, or just the bulk of them? No, they just come in with programs and services. How does that work?
Great question. Both and. So we have a wide range of services, and some of them, as I was alluding to,
right,
we're kind of going into folks' homes, and our family support specialists are working with young moms with young kids who are kind of infant, even working prenatally into all the way through till they're 3 years old. And we just had an amazing cohort of those folks graduate from the program. I think we had 45 little 3-year-olds in little caps and gowns.
Oh, how cool.
So very powerful. That's really all about the kind of child development focus. And on the other end of the spectrum, we do have a wide range of folks who are living on over 5 properties that Homestart owns. One of those kind of critical locations is we provide confidential housing to young moms who are with the little kiddos escaping a domestic violence situation. And we have maternity housing programs. And so really, for some, it's the first time they're on their own. They're figuring life out. And so really being able to kind of provide wraparound services to those folks.
Yeah, you serve about 15,000 people a year, and one of the things that you folks have always been so good, so consistent on is that it's going to be a place that can be very scary for folks when they're in a domestic violence situation or domestic abuse. And, one of the things that I've always pointed out to your predecessor and now with you too, and you know this because of the space you've been in, domestic abuse doesn't always have to be physical. It can be mental. It can be withholding funds. It can be whatever the case may be. And so are we making inroads in this? You guys are, and we know that. You provide these safe havens in those situations. But are we seeing domestic abuse flat? Is it going up? Is it going down? Talk about that.
Yeah, great question. I think in recent years, historically, we have seen it kind of going down.
Right.
And so that is great news.
Right.
I think there are still some critical situations. I think one of the, for the reality of the situation that we're in now, a lot of critical needs that help some of the most vulnerable families are in question. There's a lot of unknowns that the families that we work with are facing. And so I think one of the kind of challenges that we as an organization are really preparing ourselves for is that I think there is going to be an increased need as some of those basic needs services are cut.
Right.
Kind of regardless of folks' politics, that's just a reality of what is happening and facing. And so it's places and organizations like Homestart that will be on kind of the front lines and see before anyone else does some of those kind of vulnerable scenarios. So we're doing everything we can to kind of be ready and partner with like-minded folks to kind of overcome those issues if they arise.
Joe, I'm so glad you brought that up. We're chatting with Joe Buehrle. He's the new CEO of Homestart. Just been an amazing organization. It's in its 53rd year, if I'm doing the math right, focusing on really strengthening the family life by bringing people out of abusive situations or kids of neglect and so forth. I'm glad you brought that up about, some of the funds that are going to be cut, and that doesn't make a difference what side of the aisle you're on. The bottom line is this is what you're dealt with. And I think it's important for people to realize that, they can read about this stuff and hear about it, and they're going to be doing the X, Y, and Z. But once you talk to the people that Homestart deals with, that will be an impact. And I think it's great that you're bringing this out. So, I encourage our listeners to get a hold of Joe, see how they can help out, whether it's donations, whether it's volunteering, whether it's whatever, or working with groups. How closely do you work with our local politicians, some of the congressmen and women in our area?
Yeah, great question. We work very closely with many of them, and we have a wide range of kind of funding and partnerships, whether it be federal, state, county, and local cities. And so whether it is connecting with our elected representatives at the city of El Cajon, all the way to kind of, we've got hosting a visit coming up with Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs.
Yeah, she's great.
And so it really is going to take all of us coming together to kind of solve these complex challenges.
Right. And I think, and what you said too, not just the local politicians, but the community leaders, but as important as anything, it's just the citizenry of the people who live in San Diego County. Because I'm sure there's not too many people that can't sit there and understand the challenges of some of the folks that are in these families that you guys have been dealing with for 53 years. So I think that's a very good positive approach to that. I see one of my all-time favorite events is coming up around the corner on October 25th, Hallo-Wine. I've been honored to be going to this annually for a while. Talk about it.
Yeah. Whether folks may or may not know, just in line with what we've been talking about, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Right.
And so for the past 18 years, Homestart has hosted this event. And it really is one of those places where you can kind of give back in a fun, vibrant environment. We will have tastes and sips kind of from around the region. We have a wide range of sponsors and restaurants and wine vendors. We even have there'll be a little speakeasy that is on the property. It's at a gorgeous home that overlooks the Pacific Ocean, kind of on the backside of Point Loma. And the speakeasy is in an old World War II bunker. that just is still there on the property. So it's kind of a fun, engaging way to connect with like-minded folks who are wanting to give back and care about these things. And I think one of the most powerful parts of the evening is then everyone kind of gets to hear from some of those families that Homestar touches, helps, connects with. And the beauty of that is while this person or family is potentially early on in their kind of growth and transition journey, a lot of us have very storied pasts as well. So I think being able to see our own journey, seeing our own experiences, while they may be similar or different, but it's really a way to kind of see that we're all connected, that we're all one community, and that true lasting change happens not when we do something for people, but with people. And this Hallo-Wine event on October 25th is really all about that.
Yeah, it's a great event. I've always gave your predecessor so many kudos because it's so smart. It's 3 to 6. Yeah. And so you can do stuff in the morning. You can sit there, go to the event, and you got plenty of time afterwards to do stuff.
Exactly.
And it's going to be on the campus of Point Loma Nazarene University. And this home is unbelievable.
Yes.
I think I spent a good part in the speakeasy because this bunker, you can just imagine what they were doing as they overlook the Pacific Ocean. So I really encourage people to tickets are it's only $120 a ticket. Right. But the benefit you get out of this support this organization is huge. How do they get tickets, Joe?
Great question. You can go to our website, www.home-start.org, and go to our events tab, and you can find all the information right there. And we are literally just over 30 days out. And so it's perfect timing to kind of jump in and sign up. And it will be my first one. So if it's your first time and you haven't been before, come join me, come have fun, and we'll figure it all out together.
So my favorite events of the year is done so well organized. Everyone's just in a great spirit. Obviously helping a great cause, to say the least, in this. Are you still looking for sponsors? Or are you looking for door prizes? Talk about that.
Yeah, great question. We are still looking for sponsors. We still have some room, and we still have also some kind of booth and tent space available. So if you are a local vendor, a food vendor, a restaurant, and you're kind of looking to get the word out to over 200 San Diegans, this is the place for you. And beer, wine, I think we have some kombucha vendors. Our title sponsor is Buehrle, which you may or may not know is, I think they were ranked 8th in the country on Yelp. And so they will be there presenting and I think having some taste from their restaurant as well. So if you're interested, we'd love to kind of put you alongside this distinct.
It's a great event with a great cause. Hallo-Wine is on October the 25th from 3 to 6. Just go to the website. We are chatting with Joe Buehrle. He is the CEO of Homestart. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. We are the Spotlight in the Community Show, the longest community podcast in the nation. We've been doing this now for 19 years. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union for 6 decades. They've been doing great things in our region, focusing on food insecurity, financial literacy, the arts, homelessness, you name it, they're heavily involved in everything. That's great. When we come back from Joe, we're going to talk more about the programs that they offer, first 5 steps, and communities in action, and so forth. And then we'll follow up again with another plug for Hallo-Wine. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, The unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast in our 19th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, 60 years of doing great things in the community. So pleased to have the new CEO of Homestart, the Venerable Homestart organization, on our podcast, and that is Joe Buehrle, just talking about certainly some of the his background, huge in the nonprofit world. Hallo-Wine event will be Saturday, October 25th from 3 to 6 on the campus of Point Loma Nazarene in this unbelievable estate out there. But talk about some of the programs that you folks offer.
Yeah, Homestart offers kind of a wide range of programs that really kind of align around a few key pillars. We have our child abuse prevention and neglect prevention programs. We have a community service for family program, which is all about helping families stay connected, stay together. Most of the time, folks may or may not know, when we think about abuse and neglect, most of the kind of referrals and challenges that pieces of our family are more on the neglect side. So it's well-intentioned folks who are really in an impoverished situation. And so Homestart helps come alongside those families to kind of avoid being connected with or kind of into the child welfare system. And so we've been doing that for decades. Super powerful program. We have a First Steps program, works with a lot of local immigrant refugee families, helping them get assimilated, acclimated, and really focusing on their children and those kiddos getting the kind of growth and development that they need, helping answer any kind of parents' questions. Obviously, any young parent or parent of young children knows I've been there myself. Those early years are unbelievably overwhelming and difficult, let alone if you add that with a family who's new to the United States. So really being able to kind of partner with them in a meaningful way does a lot. We have a wide range of other programs, from behavioral health services, mental health, and lots of housing support programs, a maternity housing program that I was alluding to before. We also have a range of kind of workforce development and social enterprise programs that are really a powerful part of how Homestart is making a difference in the region.
Yeah, you bring up a very good point. I want to get back to what you mentioned about neglect, and it gets back to what we were talking about when you think about domestic abuse, you think about physical, you and I chatted about earlier. There's a lot of other ways of doing it. One, neglecting the kids. The kids haven't been changed, they haven't been washed, they haven't been fed in this. And we know food insecurity is huge in San Diego County. It's big around the country for that matter. But the amount of kids and adults that go home with food insecurity is massive in here. But I think one of the things that I love about what you do is your goal is to keep the families connected. Yeah. You don't want to have them separated. And there are going to be some cases where they have to be separated because of some different circumstances. Right. We all know that. But your goal is to bring them back together. Talk about that.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. All the research shows, and we've learned a lot over the years as a kind of a sector and system, and that it is 10 times better outcomes when the families are stay together. And instead of like removing a child, really, what are the kind of full supports that we could do to kind of come around that child? It's better outcomes for those kids themselves and those families, and it's actually better outcomes for the rest of society as taxpayers because it's cheaper,
100%.
Much more cost effective.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think one of the keys when we talk about this, when you are working with the families and the parents need some help. San Diego isn't the cheapest place to live, as you well know, coming from from Michigan. Yep. And it's a challenge. And so people have the right intentions. We've talked about this a lot. Joe, is that sometimes you're one paycheck away from now having to give up where you're living and all that business. So, but when you guys, work with a family, I think what's so critical, and a lot of people, miss this point, when you're helping that child or children or that parent, mom or dad, you're not just helping that individual, you're helping their whole universe. Talk about that.
Right. Yeah, I think one of the most beautiful examples of that is our maternal housing program. So there are young moms. One example of a woman named Vanessa that we got connected with. She was escaping a domestic violence situation, was in a shelter with her young son, found Homestar, and we kind of got her into our maternal housing program. So there's stability, safety, could rest, and her kiddos could rest at night without any worries. Once she was kind of stabilized with basic needs, a lot of our corporate partners help out on this property, do beautification projects, make sure there's toys, and it's outfitted in a way that is kind of warm and welcoming. But Vanessa got stabilized. She then got connected with our workforce development programs. So folks, many folks know us for our thrift boutique on Adams and Normal Heights. And many of the young women and men that work there are either transition age youth or someone like Vanessa, who's literally living in the area at one of our properties. And then she can start when she's ready at really a entry-level position to really build her resume, get the experience of what it means to show up on time, fill out an application. And so it's really a safe place for folks to build those employment and job readiness skills. They'll go through a program and a curriculum related to that, build their confidence, and then they can pivot that into a long-term sustainable life for themselves and their family. Yeah,
which makes such a big difference, as you mentioned, for the community as a whole, of course, and their family as well. We're chatting with Joe Buehrle. He is the new CEO of Homestar. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We're the nation's longest-running community podcast in our 19th year, brought to you by the fine folks at Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things for people living in San Diego County. We talked a little bit about some of the challenges that, whether it's your organization or the people that you support, and certainly there's no question about them, is housing in this area. Talk about that. It's a challenge.
Yes, yeah. I think the kind of reality is, as we maybe know, is it's actually more expensive for folks.
That's right.
To live on the street than to have organizations like Homestar be able to kind of help and get folks housed.
Right.
Another unique example of that, there was an elderly couple, and by the way, seniors are the fastest growing homeless population.
Absolutely. Been that way for a while.
And so there was an older couple with some complex medical needs who had been living in their car for 5 years.
Wow.
And for the kind of basic medical care, they kept having to go to the ER, the emergency room. And as we know, that is a very expensive way to kind of get your, preventative care. The issue was El Cajon, living in your car, and this woman had some kind of breathing issues. And so the heat and everything was making it impossible for her to manage her kind of medical needs. So they got connected with one of our housing outreach specialists, and through a partnership that we have with the city of El Cajon, and got connected right into some stable housing with air conditioning. And for the first time in 5 years, this elderly couple has a safe place to be, and they can kind of just take care of their basic needs and get off the street. Huge difference.
Change their life.
Yeah.
Literally change their life. One of the things I wanted to make sure everyone knows that, if there is something that you suspect, some abuse or neglect in the house, then you should contact. There's certainly some very confidential hotlines, right?
Yeah.
Is that on your website?
Yes.
Okay.
All that information folks can find on our website.
Right. And we encourage people to do that. Listen, it's not always, just don't think about it as you're thinking on someone. What you're doing is you're saving a family and that person probably themselves as well. And they should do this. Some very good professional folks. So if you see it, if you recognize it, if you think there's some of that, I know one of the things that we used to talk about are tips to be on the lookout. If all of a sudden you see your neighbor's kid, it looks like they've been wearing the same clothes for 3 weeks or something like that, it's worth it to reach out. It's going to be a great benefit. Hallo-Wine is going to be on August 25th. How do they get tickets again?
Please go to our website, home-start.org, and you can find all the information there. And as I said, it'll be my first time, so I'm excited to meet everybody and kind of join us on really being a part of this community, and really kind of wrapping ourselves around all of those who are most in need. And this is a kind of a great, fun way to give back.
It's a great 3 to 6. There's still opportunities for sponsorship. There's some opportunities for booths and all that business. Just go to the website. What can our listeners do to support Homestart? What can we do for you?
Great question. I think we have a wide range of ways that we partner with folks. We have kind of Befriend a Family program and toy drive at the end of the year. We'll have information coming out about that soon. We have our events like Hallo-Wine, which we've been talking about. We also have an amazing volunteer program. So a lot of our corporate partners who either kind of in-kind sponsor through a beautification project, or kind of getting involved in our back-to-school drive or our tour drive. There's great ways that it can be a win-win, where you can really get out of the office, have a powerful team-building thing, all while giving back. So volunteering, sponsoring, and supporting. And again, all of that can be found on our website.
Well, welcome aboard, Joe Buehrle. You'll enjoy this ride. I'm sure you already have already since June. Hopefully I'll see you at Hallo-Wine on October the 25th. It is a great event. And thank you for what you and your very talented staff do to work in this very important space. So for our listeners, we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.